Greetings, loyal minions. Welcome to the Sci Show. Also, greetings, beautiful humans. Uh, as the wheel has decided, I need to go 4-1 in Rush, which is definitely not my preferred method. Starting off, trying to give a bit of protection in different colours. With Sludgus and Lord Loki. Thing is, with Rush War, you do not get too long to get things happening, which is why I don't like going 4-1. I like having protection in a few different colours. I've got some nice blues, but I don't have two matches, unfortunately. I'm just trying to look if I can maneuver the board in a way to get two matches. It's not looking overly great at the minute. I'm going to throw these reds down the side to see if I can get a blue pop up, which I have. I don't mind if Hrothgar goes off very, very early. I don't want him to go off once I get mana. Yeah, I will. For anyone who's been watching, I am doing a strategy showdown series where I test different colour combinations. Now, I'm just going to play this extra safe and only put 2 tiles into Bernadette. So in the middle of this video, around about the halfway point, I will put some information up around the odds of certain things happening. So for anyone who likes the nerd stuff, keep an eye out for that. Oh, that was lucky. Very close with the 4-1. As I said, it's kind of, I can talk about taking counters and that type of thing, but it does actually come down to the fact of if you get your colours, you've got a very good chance of winning in those first few moves, and that's where the information in the middle of the video will have a bit of information around how long you can expect to take to get those particular colours. Yeah, it's still good to try and take some counters, but you want to have your heroes that if you're going to get the tiles charged, you get the kill. And also, because of that, I like going against, taking the colour against the enemy tank. So in that case, blue against red. Anyway, time to stop rambling. On to the next hit. As I just mentioned, I like to try and take the opposite colour against the tank, but in this case, I don't have enough greens that actually counter Fergus in a way that my reds do. So 3 of my reds will actually gain mana when he goes off. And I quite often don't use Vanya, but Vanya also withstands the mana reduction. So it means they're all kind of safe. They're not going to lose mana. I've also got Maisie as a heal to do similar. Let's take these reds. I'm not going to take the suggested match because that would leave this random red sitting there by itself. So I'm going to use that red for the match, which leaves my reds a little bit more grouped up, and there we go. Beautiful example of what can happen. Now, I would usually like to bring 4 attackers in red, but I know my red hitters here will generally get Fergus dead. So thought it was safe enough to only take 3 hitters. Look. Got a couple of mega minions. I'm thinking about not targeting Fergus here, but the thing is, I don't have any red tiles I can put into him. I don't have any purple tiles I can put into him. So I am definitely going to take the kill to be safe, and then we'll just refresh on our reds and see if we can get some more. Fergus was the main problem on this team, so I'm not too concerned about anyone else. And got my reds again, so we should be looking pretty. I do like Isidore. He does do quite well now. He's had a little buff, so he's up to 3 3 50% damage to the target, and then 9 random. So he actually does do quite well. I've been using him a lot lately in these red stacks against Fergus. Oh, 2 down. Looking better than I was expecting. So this one, I've kind of just gone, hello, beautiful. I went Grimsteel. They only have a couple of hitters, so I've gone Grimsteel just to get my growth up. Basically, if he goes off twice, they've got no chance of killing me, and I can just play it out as long as I need to. And then I've gone the greens, mostly because I've got some good hitters there. I've got some extra healing, which does damage. And I've also got the Mega Minion that I can get rid of Costume Jiao Chan's. Yes, I know, it's okay. Costume Jiao Chan's minions. So that was a thought here. We're looking good with some green matches. I'm not going to try and set off any crazy cascades. I'm just going to take the matches, trying not to set Costume Jiao Chan off. So we'll take a safe move here, knowing that as soon as I've got my matches, I am going to get rid of, well, hopefully I won't get rid of them, but it'll give me a nice little window here to get a kill. I can put a Mega Fiend on her. She won't be able to get a minion up. So I am going to do that. Even if she manages to get a heal off, it's not too bad. Got another green match, so I'm just going to take it. As I said, I don't mind if she heals. I'm going to end up having the Mega Minion hits, the Mega Fiend. I've got the burn. I've got everything on. So it's looking good. Let's shut up and get the win. That's a nice, quick one. As long as we don't get any crazy reviving happening, we should be good. That was nice and quick. Well, a good opening half, and now the moment that all the nerds have been waiting for, the random odds in the middle of the battle, talking strategy. So 4-1, what we want to know, especially in Rush War, is how quickly we can get 2 matches. So the odds of having 2 legal matches of a specific colour on the opening board, we can see there is 4 to 6%. So we only need 2 matches in Rush, given all things being equal. With Mono or 4-1, as I'm trying this war, we want to get those specials up nice and quick. So about 1 in 25 boards, basically, or 1 in 20, you're going to have both the matches of your colour on that opening board. So we go a little bit less than that. What's the chances of getting 1? We can say 24 to 27%, which will get you halfway there. That's for every colour. So being 4-1, I've then gone and asked, what are the odds of having a match in 2 specific colours? And we drop down to 8 to 10%. So around 1 out of 10 boards, if you've got 2 different colours at the start, like you're doing 4-1, you've got a 10% chance. So 1 in 10 boards, you're going to get a match of each of your colours, which then sets you up well for the rest of the match. Now, this is a big one. How many tiles would need to be moved to end up getting 2 matches in a specific colour? So on average, you'd need to move and clear about 15 to 20 tiles to create 2 legal matches in a specific colour. So if we think we might be moving, just say 5 tiles per move, you might get a couple of doubles or a bit of a cascade. You're looking at anywhere between, it's really 2 to 5 moves that you can expect to get those 2 matches of your colour. So that would generally give you enough. If it depends on where the tiles are, so it's all board specific. These are just averages, but depending on where those tiles are, that gives you a good chance of not putting all those tiles into one particular hero and setting them off. How many matches would we take to get, so how many tiles or turns, etc., to get 2 matches in the 2 colours you've got? We can see here that really blows out the 30 to 40 tiles. So that's where some people do prefer mono. It is risky, but on based on these odds, you will generally get those matches in those sort of 2 to 5 moves. Whereas when you've got two separate colours, we seen with 3-2 last Rush War, though, I went 6 out of 6 and it worked quite well. But we are moving up to 30 to 40 tiles. So again, if you look at sort of anywhere between 3 to 5 tiles per match, you're kind of getting up to, anywhere between 6 and sort of 10 moves. In Rush War, you're pretty much over by then, but that's where we're at. Now, I thought this was an interesting question. If we kind of making smarter matches, we really working the board in the best way. So I've asked, does it change with smart board play? And look, AI knows everything, as we know. So yes, with smart board play, prioritizing setup moves, cascades, and avoiding bad matches, you can reduce the needed tiles cleared by about 15 to 25%. So that's a huge change. So instead of using 30 to 40 tiles to get those two matches, by smart board play, making sure we're moving the tiles in the right areas to keep our colours grouped, using those cascades early in the match, 23 to 30 tiles. So we're now looking at sort of 4 to 5 to 6 moves. So instead of that sort of 8 or 6 to 10, we're now kind of down to 4 to 6. So that's where I feel playing the board in a great way can really, really help. I've gone on to ask a bit of a cheeky question here. Understanding humans the way you do as an AI, do you think we take enough time to assess the boards and make the most logical move? So we can see the answer there. Most players tend to act quickly and don't fully assess all options. So generally, no, we're not taking enough time. Casual players prioritise speed or instinct, while experienced players who can plan carefully do better with board analysis. My next question is, what would your advice be to play? Sorry, what would your advice to those players be? Slow the fuck down. Look, ChatGPT agrees. Slow the fuck down. Now, I know a lot of people are sitting out there saying, come on, what the hell does a bloody ChatGPT AI robot know about humans? Well, to test what it knows about humans, I've asked it a very deep personal question as to find out how we're assessing its assessment of humans. So firstly, would you assume I'm a human, and how would you assess me? And look, I'm not even going to read through that. It's actually stirring up a lot of emotion inside me. I'm going to need a little bit of a rest to get over that. But yeah, read through that if you will, if you dare, and see if you agree. Does ChatGPT understand the way humans think? Anyway, enough of my stupid crap. Back in. Not my most favourite team here. Again, this is where taking a 4-1, wow, great purples, does make it hard when you don't have any counters. I was almost going to bring Grimble out of retirement because this dude's counter-attack minions are a pain in the butt. So yeah, I've ended up taking purples against the yellow. Old school our freaked. If I got the purples first, I could stop them. And Vari, because she removes both the fiends and the minions. Hello, Baba. It's okay. Yeah, not looking great here for any particular colour. I'm going to take these blues to start with because it's kind of safer to set their healer off than anything else. But now we are not looking great. It really is based around, in this case, I do need to get Anvari. If he fires, I need Anvari to go off to get rid of his fiends and minions before my purples can do their damage. I did try to bring... Wow, all those tiles and no purples. Are you serious? Wow. At least Dark Feather gives me some growth. He's going to give me a bit of long-term protection if I can get him fired. And I've got some things here that cast Mega Minions. So, yes, they'll take some damage, but it's going to hurt the Mega Minion. Wow. I'm so tempted to take the diamond to clear a lot of tiles. However, I think taking the green and yellow down here. It's going to clear just as many. It's then going to give me a red cascade. So I'm just going to do that. Doing the yellow diamond would have taken 2 moves to get me, because I would have had to make the diamond and then pop it to get the tiles cleared, whereas that particular move meant I cleared all the tiles in that one go. And as long as I don't cascade into Hrothgar here, it means I've got my purples. I can fire off Andvari, and then I can get some real damage going. I should have actually fired Dark Feather first, and that was a terrible mistake, because he would have got follow-up damage from Andvari. That was really, really stupid. Also, my Gunctus has had a bit of mana down, so this is not looking great unless I get some very good damage happening here. Right, so the left side is locked down a little bit, so I can focus on the right. Surely that's going to kill him. Yeah, that's the same. All right, so not fantastic, but it's getting me somewhere near where I need it to be, and still not many purples coming through. Problem with Rush and something like our Freaks, it just doesn't quite last. I mean, it's great, but it just doesn't really last long enough these days to to lock them down for too long. Not that it ever lasted longer, but it's just like with such overpowered heroes. You can see here I'm just keep setting off Hrothgar, so he keeps stealing my mana, although I've got a little bit of a gap here so I can get some ghosting done. All right. Was probably a huge mistake on that one without firing Dark for the first. And again, that sometimes it's just the focus. I was so focused on removing the minions and fiends before I hit that I totally forgot to fire Dark Feather before Andvari. That's all it takes sometimes. Yeah, looking, wow, she just didn't really hit anyone useful then, but that's okay. We've got the follow-ups. There we go. Undecided on this team as well. They have Wither with Scroll Beast, so I've taken a couple of Garrison Guard that protect against Wither. I've also taken my own. Wow, how many reds would you like? Hope you enjoyed the information in the middle of this war as well. It'd be interesting to assess the boards I've had in regards to how, the odds and that type of thing. Yeah, I bought Wither here. They don't have protection against that. But yeah, not looking fantastic here. Yeah, I've also bought a Cleanse. The Luflor is annoying, although I should have bought a Dispeller as well. Once she gets her protection up, damage does get cut pretty badly. But yeah, also got Orihak who can still Scroll Beast Minion, but we are not looking great here. We'll need to clear the tiles off, so I'm going to take the yellows first. At least it gives me something. And look, he's about to go off already, so I am just going to take the Hail Mary. See if we can get something useful in. Wow. And that's the issue with Rush. You do need to get things happening very, very quickly. So I'm going to take some green, set up my next yellow. Unfortunately, it's probably going to set Scroll Beast off again. Richard does some nice damage. Oh, I would have liked that to not cascade. And the Moth Dust from the enemy team has killed me as well. I have Moth Dust, but it's just not doing the same. Ouch. God. I just need my Mega Minion. It was a little bit of a worry on this one, not having enough healing, and it's probably turned into fruition. Oh, I was getting ahead of myself, thinking I might be going for another 6 out of 6, but not to be. Brutality of Rush. And again, that's why I'm not a huge fan of 4-1 or mono type things in Rush. Wow, that is horrendous. And every miss that could have happened has happened at whatever the percentage is, like, 30 odd percent. For fuck's sake. Ouch. This is a bit of a Suki Lala team after losing that last battle. I was going to take my Bernadette against a different team. However, now, hello. Taking against this particular team also got the insanity out just to really stick it to them. So let's get some insanity going because I can see a couple of yellow. Hello, Bubba, it's okay. This cats is. Oh, don't cascade. All right. Oh, that bloody moth dust. God, that's annoying. All right. I've also got the wither up to kind of do the same to them as they were doing to me. And hopefully we'll smash them a bit, get some insanity. There we go. Got rid of a couple of their dangerous people. Also got some reds up. He's going to kill himself with a bit of reflect. At least he's only going to go off once. And there we go. If only that happened last match. I hope you've had a good war. I hope you found something interesting in that. As always, I will put my scores up for the strategy showdown. We see once again, Blinding Light, always, he stole all the really big pointed teams, so I wouldn't have caught him even if I went all through. 329, not too bad. 5 out of 6 in Rush, with probably a less than ideal strategy, in my opinion, of the 4-1. The stats in the middle of the video can show why 4-1 or even mono can be useful, because once you get your moves up, being Rush, you can get your spells up quickly, your specials. And if you've got 4 or 5 of the same colour, it means you're going to smash through the team. However, I do prefer a bit of sort of counter protection type sort of strategy. So you will see the scores here for the strategy showdown. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a fantastic weekend. As always, if you enjoy what I'm doing, gently press the subscribe button, give your kitty a scratch for me, and have a bloody good one.